What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the A24 Archive. This is the segment on the channel where I'm going back through watching A24's entire catalog and giving my opinion on the films in their catalog. And I've been having a lot of fun with this, and simply the reason why I'm having so much fun doing this series is because, like I said, there's a lot of films in A24's catalog I've never seen, and there's a lot of films in their catalog that I've seen a few times, and so it's fun for me to get to revisit a lot of these and kind of get a new perspective if I haven't seen them for a while. And I feel like for the spectacular now, I'm into a segment where A24 was putting out banger after banger after banger, and I'm so excited where I'm at and watching these films because there's a lot of quality content that I'm getting to watch right now. The film I'm going to be talking about today is from a filmmaker that a lot of you out there who are big film nerds and are looking at great filmmakers now is from the great Denis Villeneuve, and the film I'm going to be talking about today is Enemy, starring Jake Gyllenhaal. Enemy is directed by Denis Villeneuve. A mild-mannered college professor discovers a look-alike actor and delves into the other man's private affairs. So this was an early Villeneuve film, and this was probably the first film from him that I saw. And it was either this or Prisoners. One of the two were the first ones I saw from him. And I remember when I watched this the first time, I was just kind of in awe of how over the top and absurd that this movie got to in like the best way imaginable. And it was so wild and mind-bending and trippy. And it reminded me of a David Lynch movie in the best way possible, where there's a lot of themes to unpack in this, and I feel like every time I watch it, I get a little bit more out of it. And it's something that, each viewer is going to interpret it in their own way. And that's what I love about any film with like dual identity as kind of the runner. But you have the introduction into Jake Gyllenhaal's character, who he's this kind of just like to himself, not super charismatic or personality driven college instructor who teaches history. He lives at home and he has this girlfriend who I don't think they live together because she's constantly leaving. But their relationship isn't seemingly great from what we can tell. She comes over, they'll have sex. She seems to kind of like be off put by him a little bit. She leaves. And he spends a lot of time alone, but at the beginning of the film, he's not really doing a whole lot. He has this discussion with a fellow professor in like the lunchroom one day where he brings up movies, and Jake Gyllenhaal says, "I'm not really much of a movie guy." And he's like, "Well, you should check out blah, 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 blah." So one day after his class, he goes to a video store and he rents this movie and he's watching it, and the movie ends and he closes his laptop and he goes back to bed. Well, he gets up in the middle of the night because he has this dream where he sees himself in like a bellhop uniform. And he gets up and he starts scrolling through the movie and he pauses it and he notices that the bellhop in the film looks exactly like him. And so he goes through the credits, finds it, does some research, and tracks this guy down. And so the movie is Jake Gyllenhaal tracks this guy down. You find out that he is a real person who is married to this woman who's pregnant. And it's the two of them, the circumstances of events that happen between the two of them, and you as the viewer kind of deciding, are these two separate people? Are they the same person? How is this occurring? And there's obviously a lot of larger themes at play. The film opens with Jake Gyllenhaal's character, which you're not sure which Jake Gyllenhaal yet it is, in this like club area where there's all these women and they're like performing on stage naked, and there's these men watching them perform sexual acts. And the end of the scene, there's a woman standing naked with high heels on over top of this platter, and they take the platter off and it's a live spider and she's going to step on the spider. And this theme of a spider plays through the entire film, and you can kind of piece that together for what you want as far as the power dynamic, the control over men over women, because at the beginning of the film you have this spider who's seemingly helpless under this huge woman's shoe. It's going to be crushed, and all these men are paying her to do it. And so throughout the film, that spider becomes a motif, and in your head you're like, okay, I kind of get where that's going. And then at the same time you have this dual identity thing between Jake Gyllenhaal's character, where you have the one that's at the school. He's very mild-mannered, he's to himself, he doesn't seem to like stir up a lot of trouble, whereas the actor Jake Gyllenhaal is very like eccentric, he's egotistical. It's like he's very much a I'm gonna get what I want and no one's gonna tell me otherwise type of person. The relationship between him and his wife is kind of like broken. You can tell that they're not perfect. She's seemingly struggling with a lot between the two of them. She starts to investigate it on her own. And this film is just wild. I don't want to give too much more away. I think this is a movie in A24's catalog. If you haven't seen it, you should watch it. Denis Villeneuve is an incredible filmmaker anyway, but it's so fantastic. The score to this film is phenomenal. It really kind of takes you on this wild journey that really elevates and kind of creates this mood that is so unsettling and so like anxiety ridden. The cinematography in this film, it's disgusting. Like, it's beautiful, but it's disgusting. There's this gross, like, yellowish piss colored hue to everything in the film that kind of just makes you sick while you're watching it, and it makes you feel uncomfortable. And it's unlike a lot of cinematography I've seen in movies before, and it really kind of sends you on that hour and a half long adventure into madness. And I really appreciate this even early in Villeneuve's career. I mean, watching him tackle things now like Dune and Blade Runner 2049 and Arrival and a lot of these larger projects that he has, it's great to kind of go back and look at something like this that is much more refined and character driven. And I think Jake Gyllenhaal's performance in this is phenomenal. There's really a clear split between these two characters and their personas, and he does a really great job flip-flopping back and forth between them. And I think both of the actresses in the film are also phenomenal. They do a really great job, and I love the setting and the atmosphere of this movie. It's just one that I'd recommend you go in as blind as possible. I gave a brief synopsis as to what's going on, but it's really great to kind of build your own interpretation to this film and what everything means. And I felt like after this time watching it, this was my second or third time seeing it, and I feel like I really cemented for myself this time kind of what I feel like the ending is. And so I'm happy that this time around I kind of got the gist of how I feel about it, and I'm excited to hear what you guys think about this movie, because I think it is a really great one in A24's catalog. So have you seen Enemy? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you thought. I thought this movie was brilliant. I think Denis Villeneuve is an incredible filmmaker, and I'm always excited to see anything he makes. As always, if you can like the video and subscribe to the channel, it helps me out a lot and lets me know the type of content you're looking for. I'm always putting out new material and looking forward to getting more out in the near future. This A24 archive has been so much fun for me just to get to watch these A24 films again, and I look forward to putting out new ones in the future. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.